I thought the bolt loosened up, and then I think when I turned it, it made a noise, which probably went through the mic, and now everyone was like, did someone fart? No.
He's covering it up, guys.
Am I? Or is this just this leather seat I have?
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Payne.
Hello, it's me.
It's you. And this week we watch another movie, as we do.
Some of us watched it this week.
You were just extra prepared. You did your homework well ahead of time.
I got my dates mixed up.
You didn't get the dates mixed up, you got the movies. You knew when we were meeting.
Yes. I knew when we were meeting, but I got what episode. In short, I got next week's episode mixed up with this week.
It's okay. I messed up last week's recording because of the change in order of things.
Yeah, and then I was just surprised. Well, anyway, that's next week's episode for everybody, but we already recorded that one. But I'm surprised I watched that whole thing as quickly as I did.
It was only like probably about the hour 15, right?
I can't remember. I know
it was like 27 minutes and then like 4 15-minute things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, but I did split it in half because I watched like I think the first 3 and then whatever went on. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. You know what we are talking about. You know what's happening this week, right?
The week that this is releasing?
I don't know. I was just trying to start conversation. I don't know how to start conversation.
You used up all your conversating skills before we hit record, and now that we're recording,
I'm nervous. They're going to hear me. Yeah, they're going to hear what I'm saying, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is this loser doing? And I'm like, oh no, watching movies? What are you doing listening? Thank you.
Welcome back, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or welcome in.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just, it's crazy because it was, well, I don't know. It was kind of like a murky kind of day anyway. And then it's just combined with the fact, like I sent a TikTok to the girlfriend, and it was like this girl that was in the car. It's like, I think the time, it said it was like 3:59. She's like, yeah, no, I'll be right over there in 10-15 minutes. Yeah, I'll be right there. It's all good. And then she blinks. It's 4:00 and it's pitch dark. And she's like, I'm gonna stay home. And I'm like, yeah, that's relatable. So as I look out and just I know beyond the whatever it is, the curtains is just darkness.
Good old winter and daylight savings.
Where's now I'm just thinking of with darkness. We need the Keyblade with the Kingdom of Hearts to fight back the darkness.
I remember as a teenager in Kingdom Hearts they were playing, and then I was like, oh, are the 2 main boys, are they in love? And they said, oh my god, ew, that's disgusting. Why would you say that? I was like, he's chasing him across multiple universes. I would not do that for my best friend, no offense. And they're like, he's dating Kairi. And I was like, they've touched shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And every time Kairi's like, how you doing? He's like, oh my god, I can't stop thinking about the other boy.
I can't stop thinking about Riku.
That's right, Sora and Riku, right?
Sora, Riku, and Kairi.
Yeah, Kairi was a beard.
Kairi's a beard?
Do you not know that term?
No, never heard that term.
So, beard is a term usually used when you have someone you are with to appear straight.
Yeah.
So, the person that you're using as your cover.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time I was out at like a family fair, and it wasn't necessarily a family fair, but it was like a street fair in a neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I was walking through, and a guy had a shirt that said, I love being my wife's beard. I just looked at it because he had a beard, and there was a beard drawn on the shirt, and I was like, I don't think he knows what that means. So I went to my queer friends and I said that shirt and they went, I don't think he knows what that means.
Did you tell him?
No, because he had a daughter with him who was of that age that they parrot things. So if I said it out loud, she'd be like, Mommy's gay. But hey, whatever they want in their relationship, maybe they meant it literally. Maybe
she wanted a beard, and so he grows it for her. And then she shaves it off, and she glues it onto her face. And it's like, I'm the lumberjack now.
I could be it.
Or it could be the other one. I don't know.
Or maybe they're polyamorous, and that's the way that he gets people's attention, where people are like, hey, your shirt means something. And he's like, wink, wink. So, you know, I can't hate on it. They do what they want.
I never stopped other people from hating on things.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people really hate of course, it leaves my head. There was like an anime that was in my head, and then it was like gone.
Goodbye, thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, I can't think of it. There was an anime.
And flew away.
Yeah, just like it's like, I'm not here for your hate thought. I'm gonna report your thought crime. Goodbye. And I'm like, whoa.
I'm not just here for your entertainment, okay?
I'm here for your hate.
Here's something. Do you watch any of Dropout's content? Dropout is what College Humor became.
Yes, I see some of their clips. I haven't really watched anything.
Yeah, Dimension 20 is their big D&D thing, so I wasn't sure if you're like familiar with that at all.
I'm familiar with it. I don't know much of it. I see the clips of the funny moments.
Yeah, they're all comedians and improv people, so that makes sense. Someone I know has let me watch like stuff on their full channel, like their subscription channel, and they have a cooking show that I started to watch. Originally, I was just watching. It's called Make Some Noise, and it's basically kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the host is sitting there and he's just like, here's a prompt, act it out, and then he gives imaginary points to people. So that's always funny.
I think I've seen part. Is Ross Bryan on that show?
He is sometimes.
Yeah. I know Ross from other things. That dude is hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of the guests they have on there are very funny. There's one, it was Brandon Lee Mulligan, who you've probably seen around a lot.
I've seen his clips a lot.
Yeah, and then it was Ross on the same episode, and then there was another guy, and the third guy was like, I can't do accents. I don't do a New York accent every time. But they thought it was so funny because the other two are like doing British and like Scottish and like Canadian accents and like really selling it, and the guy's like, I'm walking over here, and they're like, you get the point. And he's like, I'm just trying my best. They're like, no, it's very funny, thank you still for trying. I was like, he's really out of his breath, but he's holding up, he's doing his best. I've watched a lot of Make Some Noise. I think like I'm in the second season right now, but I saw that they have something called Gastronauts. They put one of the episodes on YouTube, and I started watching it on their full channel, and they make the comedians make whatever prompt they want for 3 chefs, and these poor chefs. I do recommend watching it. It's very funny. On the second episode that is behind the paywall, one of the comedians, she's like, 2 of my favorite things when it comes to my meals, I like them dry, I don't like sauces or dressings, and I like tuna. Can you make me something that tastes good with those 2 things in mind? And the host was like, oh my God, I am going to die. And the other 2 judges that are also comedians were like, can we have glasses of water? And she's like, I don't want a glass of water. I want it to be dry. And the host was like, I've seen her lunch. It is mixed lettuce, canned tuna, and like crackers. And she's like, yeah, it's a salad. And they're like, no. It's not a salad.
That is not.
So then the host goes to the chefs and they're like, what do you think of this challenge? He's like, I hate this. I absolutely hate this. So like one of them made a sandwich and they're like, you know what? You picked ciabatta bread. That is very dry. Perfect. Yes. And the other 2 judges were like, I hate it. Tastes good, but man, my mouth is drying.
I don't want to be on the show with this comedian anymore.
And then the other one, he was like, you know, you have a hard night of gaming and you can't pause your games. And the other comedians were like, what do you mean you can't pause? He's like, well, if you're playing an online multiplayer game, you can't just pause it because there's other people happening. It's a live server. They're like, okay, what's your prompt? He's like, give me a meal and a horse feeding bag. And the chefs are like, okay. Like,
what can we sign up for? Is it the same chefs, or do they switch out the chefs?
They switch out the chefs when they switch out the judges.
Okay, that's probably for the best.
Yes. Like, there is an episode on YouTube, and I watched it on YouTube, and then I remembered I had access to the full service. But yeah, it was a total mess. And Strider watched one of them with me. I was like, if you were a chef with this show, would you love or hate it? He's like, I would hate it. What do you mean you want dry food?
Just give them cereal with tuna in it.
I think one of them made a sandwich. Another one made, they made like a tuna sauce. Like, they mixed like cream and like tuna. And they're like, it does have sauce, so I don't know if it meets the criteria, but you did give us crackers to eat with it, so I guess it worked. Like, it was very funny. There was another one that was like, I purposely put, it was either the type of seasoning or the type of acid, so when you bit into it, it dried your mouth, and they were like, yup, yes. I think she named her challenge So Bad It's Good, and everybody else on the show was like, do I have to judge this one?
Can we vote her off the island, please? Yeah. I will say, I've seen a bunch of their clips and stuff. I don't know. All YouTube recommends me now is just music playlists. And now I'm like, okay, was this playlist made by AI? And by all the music made by AI. And I'm like, oh, great. So I found a few that I'm like, cool. They're not.
There's actual people behind this music.
Yeah. I'm like, it's annoying that it's like, and the problem is it's getting so close that you can't tell.
The art has gotten really bad, so art's easier to see. Like, I saw, we were making fun of someone because they changed like their profile picture on social media, and me and my friends were looking at it. I was like, this is AI. And they're like, I think so, because like their hair's not gray. I was like, no. I think it's an American flag behind them, but the stars are random triangles, and like it didn't know how to make stars on like an American flag. And then the ripples in the flag, the shading were in like it was like the light was coming from two different directions. And I was like, why did he post an AI picture generated of himself? Why didn't he just post a picture of himself? Like,
he's playing the long game.
let me see if I can find.
Just find the picture.
I feel like someone sent it to me at one point. I can't remember if we were hovering over our phones or not, but I won't put his face on it. It was the background that started to, like, the more I looked at it, the more mad I got at it.
Would I recognize the person if you put the face on?
I don't think so.
But I guess while you're finding that, we can say the reason why we're meeting here today. Just like, I guess, oh no, is the background really what it assumes is a fun segue for we're watching Millennium Actress. Yeah, and so while Hop's looking for that, yeah, welcome everybody to. He circled his ear.
No, I just cropped it so you can't get the whole background without like.
Yeah. No.
You see what I mean? Like it's clearly approximating a flag, but it's like, what are these shapes?
There's a 6-pointed star. And
yeah,
then there's a good
star.
star, and then there's a star that's like, yeah. And then there's the star right underneath his ears. Like, well, it looks like something that a math teacher would give you to be like, what is the area?
Yeah, and then like it's also almost going in a circle, and there's one random one. I'm like, is it the Betsy Ross flag? What is this?
Well, that's fun.
But yeah, you want to talk about fun perspectives?
Yeah, exactly. Millennial actress, everybody. We're talking about that. It is the third
Millennium.
Millennium. Oh, yeah. Words are hard.
Yeah, I'm sure Millennial actress is some social media account that may or may not be weird.
Oh, is that a...
No,
you know?
I just mean every time I
okay.
see someone who has like, I'm the millennial finance person, I'm like, why is that your moniker? Why couldn't you just be like first name finance?
Millennia actress is just a nostalgia clip posting for 90 Tamagotchi art. I
was gonna say, I imagine it as someone, you know how like on TikTok you can like stitch things? I imagine it's someone who like tries to act, but it's only like comparing against like things that came out in their childhood. Like if I was on Zoe 101, this is how I would play the scene. That's what I imagine the shtick would be.
Oh shoot! And there was another. Oh, I don't know if I want to look it up. I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't remember the show, but it was like I know it was a Disney original show that was like for TV. And it was like they were in space. It was like some girl in space, and there's like the 21st and a half.
It was a movie, Xenon.
Yes, I'm like it begins with a Z, and I just remember it was like.
I think it's an X.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I think it's spelled with an X, actually.
I don't know. That's not what we're talking about.
Wrong actress.
Hmm?
The wrong actress we're talking about?
No. We're not talking about that movie.
I was joking because you were talking about Xenon. I was like, yeah, that's the wrong actress.
It is the wrong actress.
Different...
It is the wrong actress. We're talking about the Millennium actress. There's no the. It's just... We're talking about the anime. We're in our series of winter animes or animes of winter. I don't remember what we called it. But,
there's a lot of snow in this one.
Yeah, it's kind of the... So far, it's been the list of animes that wish they were in winter or whatever. But, yeah, so pretty much the gist of this is we're going to be rolling a D8 to find out who's going to have a short synopsis of the film. And then we have a series of questions that we're going to answer.
We're like discuss. I don't think we have the definitive
answer.
It's
Not
answer. Kind of opinions. Yeah.
As I lost the list. Oh, well. I know I can just open up.
I have the list.
Yeah, I can just click this conversation and it's right there without making me all whited out. And then we'll start a timer for 30 minutes and just have a full-on conversation about the movie.
If you don't want to be spoiled, we'll definitely warn you when it gets to spoiler territory.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, you're safe.
Yeah, highway to Spoil Town. So do you have your D8?
I do. So Payne and I like to roll dice because we're both big fans of tabletop RPGs where you get to roll dice in them. And this is just a fun excuse to do that again. We're rolling a D8 because we have 8 episodes in this series. And the one with the lowest number gets to be the one that gives the synopsis.
Yeah, and the reason we chose the lowest is because people count down to Christmas. I didn't do a good job counting down.
Oh, I'm 2. I counted too fast towards Christmas.
Oh, I'm at 6. So which is the if we're counting down, it would be the 6th episode if we were counting down. If Walk On
Counting
Girl.
up.
Counting up. Yeah. Wait.
Is this 2? No, this is only the 3rd episode. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are 6 away from our Christmas episode.
That's what I was trying to say with my poor communication skills. Anyway, go ahead. Give the synopsis.
All right. The quick synopsis of this movie is we follow essentially a stylized interview with an actress who was famous during a lot of tumultuous times in Japanese history. with a lot of different like revolutions and revolutionary leaders and ideals kind of being portrayed as like a historical fiction, which is pretty cool. And we're told through the lens of these two guys that are interviewing the actress who has kind of isolated herself this whole time. And as the viewer, we get to watch it as if it's being acted out while she's telling the story. It's I would say, as far as like genre movie, it's like period piece and drama. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if I say much more, then it's kind of like
we get, it's very easy to get into Spoil Town. As here's, I guess, a good quick line: as reality and cinema become blurred.
Yeah.
I didn't write that. It was just in the second sentence of this article.
Steal the credit. Steal the credit.
No, because then when I run for office, you're gonna pull this up and tell all your friends.
Look, you listen to AI music, might as well steal credit from other quotes.
No, I stopped listening to the AI music when I found out it was AI. I was like, man, this music's good. And then I scrolled down to the comments. It's like, this guy was like, just question, is this AI music? And he's like, yeah, I put in the prompts. I'm like, oh, man. And I was enjoying this. And then I ruined it by reading comments.
Being aware of what you're consuming. No.
Yeah. Just put me back in the cave and let me look at the shadows.
Give me the cave drawings.
That reminds no, we're not going down that rabbit trail. It's not a bad rabbit trail, but it's a rabbit trail.
All right. So before we get lost, Dpayne, how much does this fit the winter season?
As we did say,
A through F.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it a C because there is snow, but it's not Christmas. How about yourself?
I think the bar is pretty low, so I would give it a B minus because I'm going to give it credit. I don't think they celebrated Christmas yet in this time of Japan.
When did KFC come to Japan?
Yeah, this was before capitalism in Japan, so I don't know that they really observed Christmas.
When did KFC make Christmas in Japan?
I like the idea of you Googling, when did KFC invent Christmas?
It's almost what I wrote.
Pretty much, yeah.
How Kentucky for Christmas became in Japan. Let's see, 1974. So,
I forget what year this movie ends. It could have. No, I think it might have ended in the 60s.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Because when she was a young adult, it was the 50s, right? And when the other guy was present. Yeah.
In the 1950s was the peak, according to this article. So, yeah, probably could have been 80s.
As late as the 80s.
Yeah, it could have been 80s, early 90s. That We'll get into that later.
Yeah, but in any case, I'm giving it some credit because a lot of the movie takes place in a time period before Japan really observed Christmas. So I'll give it a B minus because it does have the given season feel sometimes. Like, oh no, somebody needs help. I give them a gift of survival. That's all I'll say before I say more.
And hypothermia.
Not.
Well, Hop, how much did you root for the characters?
I only rooted for the main girl, the interviewer, and the mysterious man. Not another single character in this really deserved much.
No.
So I guess
the guy with the camera, he didn't really do much for rooting, but he definitely felt
he didn't have a goal though.
What I was gonna say is that character was us, the viewer, put in the film.
What's happening?
Yeah, he's just, what the heck is going? Why am I here?
That is very funny. But I just mean as far as people who had goals throughout the plot line. So not to be a hater, and I did not grow up in the times that she did, but I had trouble rooting for her. I mostly rooted for I'll just say it, revolutionary. That's not a spoiler. That's pretty much in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So, and then the interviewer, I thought he was very innocent and sweet and just trying to, like, do stuff. So, like, do those two outweigh a lot of the really terrible motivations of everybody else in the movie? I'll give it a C-. There's so many bad people. Like, a lot of bad faith actors. But get it? Because it's about actors.
Wait, what? Yeah, it's I'm looking at their name and I'm just making sure that it's does this thing have like their the actors?
There's a My Anime list. Does this one usually put? Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, to attempt. And also, it's not like Wikipedia where it's gonna blast my eyes out. Yeah, so Fujiwara is the main actress, and then Tachibana is the interviewer. Yeah. But yeah, those two, like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm gonna give it a C as well, because the only person I was like, I don't know if rooting for was like would be my answer, but the one I'm like, yeah, go you, was definitely Tachibana. It's just like, come on, he's just there.
Really great, like, he has like so many hero moments that you don't expect going into the movie.
Yeah, and it's
really cool.
And not even with like, wait, what's going on? And like when reality is revealed and you're just like, oh man, he's a good guy. And he's just surrounded by a bunch of dummies. And
he wants to just honor the right people. I like that he's basically doing this in an effort to discredit people, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then, what grade would you give the plot? As
I told Hop before she watched it, I really liked this movie. I think it's, I think plot-wise, for me, it's either an A or A-. Like, it's, I don't think it's like the perfect plot, but I really enjoyed the movie. So I'll give it an A for me.
Yeah, I think an A for me as well, because I like the inventive storytelling. Mm-hmm. It was really engaging and really interesting, but there were times in it that I was kind of like, yeah, I thought we already got there. Like
yeah, it like there's a couple parts where it like repeats itself a little bit, and you're like, okay, and then
like it almost feels like not repetition for building up emotion. It feels like repetition, like, oh, in case you missed it, like, here's a string of flashbacks that connect everything to explain what just happened. And I was like, oh, I thought part of the movie was the puzzle for us to figure that out. I didn't know it was going to get fed to me, which is fine, but like...
It's, but, yeah. So... But we'll get more into the plot when we get to Spoil Town. But, how likely would you recommend this to others?
Recommend us, our podcast?
Movie.
This movie?
Both. I don't actually know. I don't want to know what you would what grade you would get.
But yeah, for Millennium,
we might have to reevaluate what we do depending on our grade.
Yeah, but no, for Millennium Actress, it's a tough one too, because I think it's like, it is a really great story, and I think a really great glimpse at some of like the historical context of Japan. Mm-hmm. It does have its bias to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but this is D-Payne say that, and I say this as we've read a lot on history of other Asian countries around this time during
for audio listeners, there was a
quiet
agreement, fervent agreement. Yes.
Yeah, the history of Asia around this time is like really volatile. So read with care and read with a lot of care.
It's not all that they show in the animes.
Yeah, between Ghibli and this director, it's like you are Japanese citizens. I understand why your viewpoint is this, because they're focused. I think a lot of like these two directors, their focus is like the human experience of living post war or like through being a civilian in war, and not necessarily, you know, the global concept of war. But in any case, I think that's another reason why like I downgrade the plot just a little bit, because it is like I understand why it's told from that perspective, but also feels a little rose-colored. But you know, based on your education and everything you grew up with, you may not realize all the other stuff that goes on. Anyway, fast forwarding, recommending it to others. I think, yeah, it's like such a cool like little historical fiction piece, but again, I think it's going to be a hard sell for some anime watchers, because it feels like an A24 film. I guess I would put it that way. I feel like I have a lot of friends that like anime, and they're like, yeah, did you see that sword fight? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I've seen a sword fight in anime before. Give me something new. And this feels like something really different and new, but I don't know. I know a handful of people I could recommend this to, and they would really appreciate it. So maybe I give this like a B. Yeah, a B. Your mic break?
No, I thought the bolt loosened up, and then I think when I turned it, it made a noise, which probably went through the mic, and now everyone was like, did someone fart? No.
He's covering it up, guys.
Am I? Or is this just this leather seat I have?
You start doing the thing where you're like shifting, like, see, it's the chair. See?
As it's just silent. That's what, when I was looking at couches, like, we would sit on leather couches. That was at like this, I don't know if they have Restore near you, but it's like,
I've been to a few.
Yeah, so we would sit on there, and it's just like, was that the couch? I'll never tell. But yeah, so I would also give it a B, and you literally took what I was about to say. It was like, if you enjoy A24's films and their kind of like ideology on how they make films, you'll most likely enjoy this. Like me, I don't consider myself an anime watcher, and I really enjoyed the story. And I think it's a unique way to tell a story. And so I think this would be good. Like, if you're pretty much, as Hop was saying, it's like, if you watch anime for the amazing visuals and all this other stuff, and like, oh my goodness, there's swords and blah blah blahs whipping all around, and yeah, I almost said an anime where people have a hard time because stuff about the person who created came out that ain't great. But it was
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. It isn't Yu Yu Hakusho though. So
yeah.
it ain't.
Feel free to send me a DM so I'm aware as a human
I'm
being.
pretty sure you know, but I'll write the name in here. I don't remember the whole name.
There's something with that one?
Yeah, apparently. You know, I'm not going to say it on mic because I heard, and I know there's something going on. He did something, but I don't remember exactly what it is. And so I don't want to like say something on mic and be wrong. But I know there was something going on that wasn't great. As Hop is now looking it up. Yeah, so but this one, like, it's all story, and there are like action pieces in it, but it's not like the focus. And like the vehicle of storytelling is a lot of fun, which is something I enjoy more when I watch movies, is just how they tell stories and everything. And like, sword fights are cool and all, but when you talk to somebody who doesn't watch a ton of anime, and they're just like, what's your favorite anime movie? It's like, oh, Princess Mononoke, which it's like, there is action in that, but there's like a ton of stories, or like Spirited Away and all this other stuff, like the Ghibli films. So, all that being said, because I forgot the question, would I recommend this movie? Yes, and I have to people already.
What letter grade?
I'll give it a B plus, because it's, once again, like for example, I think Blackjack would enjoy this. I think he would really like this movie.
He does play a lot of the visual novels that
Yeah.
kind of play with this sort of storytelling style, so that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, that's very small, but yes, I was right. Okay.
And it's also years ago, so.
Yeah.
But we don't have to share it if you.
Oh, I don't mind sharing. I just didn't want to be
incorrect
in my things. And you know what? No, that's not what we're about. So, and I don't want to change the focus on there. So
I'm sure there's a podcast for anime people behaving badly.
Yep.
So yeah.
But yeah. So
timer time?
Yep.
Or
but what I was
Did I
gonna
cut
say,
you off?
I was gonna say is like I think Blackjack would enjoy this. I'm not sure if our guest next week would. He might. I don't know. It'd be up in the air, but I would still recommend it to him.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm starting the timer. And by the way, the timer's starting, which means for the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk all things spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled about this movie that came out in 2001, well,
You have been warned.
we'll see you next week. Maybe. Until next... I almost started closing the episode. All right, I'm starting the timer in 3, 2, 1. Boop.
What was your favorite movie era?
The 1 second Godzilla showed up. No.
I did like that she kept posing with
Yeah.
kaiju, and I was like, when's the kaiju happen?
I think my favorite was the samurai film one. Like
The first time that they get
yeah, like
disoriented?
where it's just like what the, and like as they like, because they're already in a flashback and then they go into a flashback and it's just but then it's like it pulls you back into reality as like
they're physically acting out.
Because it's also the first time that Tachibana he's doing the role.
Self-inserted.
Because it's shown early on that he like knows all her movies, knows all of Fujiwara's movies by heart.
Yeah, because he's in the studio watching before they leave.
Yeah, her last one. So I enjoyed that one because that one was a little trippy at first. It's just like, wait, they were in the flashback as Ida, the cameraman's just like, how are we here? Oh no. So, and then they're just watching, he's like crying and everything, and then Itachiman's crying, and then it cuts to like open up the train. They're getting shot at by arrows, and he's just like, my lady, I'm here to save you, as he's on a horse. And then
and he gives himself his different like names. Like I think in that one he's Gentoro, the samurai, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah. So I really like the first one, and then the second one when she's the ninja and everything, and then that's the one I enjoyed. That little, mainly because it was just like, oh. How about yourself?
That one was really cool. I also really liked... Oh, caught me mid-yawn. I also really liked the final movie. Because that was like... I kept expecting that one to end where I was like... She's not waking up.
Yes.
She keeps saying she's not coming back and she's following him. I think this is a symbolization of death.
Oh,
and then there's another plot twist. But I also just like how it kind of rounded out the movie where in the very beginning he's watching clips from that movie and reminiscing about that time. Mm-hmm. And then we go through like her whole catalog, which she literally has in front of her.
Yeah.
Her whole catalog. And then it gets to that end part and, acting it all out. I think I liked that one the most because I think by that point You can tell she's completely broken. She's like acting because she doesn't know what else to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I like the crux of it being also her final straw at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. That was neat. And another thing that I thought was interesting was when Tachibana self-inserted himself into the movies, his color palette changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like he matched it, while Ida always stayed more like this faded,
Modern,
like
yeah.
like not monotone, but like it was.
He wasn't included. It was like he was a set member.
Yeah.
But I also like how when he inserted himself in the movies, he never actually had influence. Like, it's almost like he was like, if I was there, this is how I would have fixed all your problems. Mm-hmm. And then, like, she sees right through him and is, like, handling her own, like, self-doubt and, you know, other issues.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, it does, like, kind of ask the question, is, like, when he's there, is that, like, is he playing one of the roles, like, of one of the, like, character roles in there? Because then there's Scarface, who he's just, because there's a part, because like before it kind of explains what's going on, like that you're kind of watching the movies like in there, and it's just like because then like there's a whole thing with like the curse, like, oh, we gotta go see, she's like, I gotta go be with my lord, and then there's the old lady that curses her is just like, no, you're gonna be like, the more you look for him, the more you're never going to like find, I forget what the curse was, but it's just
let me see if I can find it on the
it was like you'll never age, and you'll like burn with fury and confusion because you'll never know where it is. And then I guess while you're looking that up, there's Scarface, there's a character for people who has a kind of this scar across his cheek and everything that is hunting down this man that's just known as the man with the key, or the painter, or the revolutionists, and so, and he shows up in the movies, and it's just like, hold up, what's going on here? With like, is this curse real? Is this before like it starts becoming a little bit clearer, because like at first I'm like, this is not where I thought the movie was going, like, because it's just, it almost feels like a repeating storyline throughout different eras until, well, it tells you, no, she's telling her story that just so happens to match up with what she was feeling at that time. Like, I think when she's like running after the train and trips, and then it just like it pulls the camera out, and it's the movie poster of like her first movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
How did we get here? It says on the one Wikipedia though, Chioko, in the role of a princess, is tricked by an old wraith into drinking a cursed tea that will cause her to, quote, burn forever in the flames of eternal love. And then, like, it's a reoccurring character saying, like, of course you can't find him, you're cursed. You're gonna, like, keep seeking, and no matter how close you get, you're gonna end up further and further away from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was a neat thing, because that old lady kept showing up. I don't know if we want to talk about the old lady now, or save that for later.
It's just her trauma. It's okay. Her manifested anxiety and fears. Because, yeah, like, I also liked how the setup for the movie was, where she was approached to make propaganda films, more or less. And her mom was like, no, she should, like, be at home and be a homemaker to serve her country, because if all the women are sent to be actresses, who's gonna, like, take care of the home country? Mm-hmm. And Chioko was, like, disappointed, but, like, whatever about it. And then she runs into the mysterious man and is like, he's like, I'm going to go to Manchuria. And she's like, I'm going to be in movies in Manchuria. I'm going to go now, Mom. Peace. Like, I love this man, who I believe is quite a bit older than her based on how the art's drawn and his voice. Because she's 15 to 17 at the beginning.
I think so. I think it was right around there. At least that's what because she was still in high school. Like, she was still in school.
Yeah, she was still in school.
And then it's just...
And all her friends are like, hee, do you have a crush on someone? I was like, these are children. And she's chasing after a grown man.
She's like, no. And then Gramps is just like, oh man, there was a thief in our storage closet, and they ran to the train station. Hope no one gets there.
Well, he did it a little differently. He did the extreme, like, I'm so glad you're safe because we had an intruder. And he whispers,
it's in the
train station. Oh boy, I hope you weren't hurt. Wink, wink.
Get going. But yeah, it's.
But I like how like suspicious that is to like the police enforcing, anti-revolutionary ideas. I like how he's like, oh no, he got away. She sprints.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like you said later. There's like the Scarface man. And he clearly, even though she's storytelling through different movies, she's not doing the scripts from all the movies. It's just the setting pieces on what she's been encountering through all these different decades of her life. And the Scarface man also is dressed up to fit the movies and given different weapons to fit the movies. And he's like, you look familiar. And then she's like, he ran that way.
Yeah.
And then he runs into her again. And he's like, he said something to you. And she's like, oh my god, what did he leave for me? I mean, I don't know him. And he's like, I knew it.
Jail time. Get in jail. I think my favorite interaction between the two of them is I don't know. I don't remember what era it is. It's not the first era when she drank the poisoned or cursed tea. It's the era right after that when she's like the ninja. No. It's the one after that where she's in the harem house, I think it is. She runs out.
Oh yeah, she's a geisha. Yeah.
Geisha. I was like, I can't remember the word, but she's a geisha. She runs out, and then it's just like, where is he? And then it's just like a fire, and just like, there he is, and he just like jumps over a building. He's just like, wait, I'll see you in the woods or something.
In the private place.
Yeah, I'll see you there, and then like he just disappears.
And he says only once is full freedom or perfect peace or something,
And that's when Scarface shows up again. He's like, wait a second, I recognize you. And it's just like, no, you're coming with us. And that's when Tachibana again shows up. And he's just like, because, well, like right before that is he's still in the previous film as he's like the Ronin and just has like everything. And he's just like, I fought him off. And his Kyoji Ida, it's just like, you fell on your face. What are you doing? And it's just like, I'm gonna make it. And then he shows up later. He's like, where have you been? I've been in the woods. You're dressed for the wrong era. And then he's like, you're right. and then like disappears, and because Ida's like following her, and then he just shows up on a horse in samurai armor. He's like, my lady, I will help you out. And she just steals the horse and runs. And he's just like...
Yeah, he's like, hurry, get on the horse and I'll protect you. Turns around.
What?
Oh, I guess she got away.
And then that's... Oh no, he pulls out the gun and it doesn't work.
Yeah, he pulls out the gun and the guy's like, oh, you're an I forget what the name of the government was at the time. And he's just like, I'm just trying to protect the lady.
Yeah, Tachibana was, he was like the valve release. Like, even though he knew everything, he was like a nice valve, like, release to where it's just like, oh, this is his thing. He's just like goofy until like the second half of the movie.
All the real reveals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will ask this. Who did you hate more? Aiko or the veteran actress or the director's nephew, Utaki?
Utaki.
You hated him more?
Yeah. Well, like, they worked together, but I think
you think trapping a woman in a loveless marriage is worse than torturing her mentally and physically for decades? It's practically the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, like, Aiko literally could have gotten her killed right off the rip.
Yeah,
she was like, get on this train. Hee hee.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like either of them, but it's just...
That's why when the question of rooting for the characters, it's like,
I didn't look at them as main characters though. Yeah,
they are important to the plot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Aiko is just, yeah, I didn't like her. Like, she's written not to. If you like her, you guys need to talk with somebody. Like
therapy.
Yeah.
Imagine someone's listening to this like, what? I related to her. Oh no.
Well, I'm not sorry that you have to hear this, but you need help. What's that, Michael Jordan? Stop it. Get help. But yeah, man, like she definitely felt threatened because of like a new up and coming actor, where she's like young and attractive and all that.
I could tell she was purposely unlikable when she messed up her name on purpose like 4 times. Mm-hmm. Oh, are you Chizuru? No, Chiyoko.
Yeah,
wow, I was messing it up. I'm Aiko.
Hi, Aiko.
Wow.
Well, I'm not claiming the male role. I don't want that. I'll be Ida. He's just there.
He's just a guy with a camera.
Yeah, but it's Ika, like it. I guess like definitely, like as you were saying, like tortured, like mentally, like tortured.
She gaslit her so much.
Mm-hmm. But like it felt like almost at some point like Iko like could only do so much as Chiyoko's popularity was growing. Utaki was like
manipulator.
He had to plan that all out and get people.
And the crazy thing is, like he held on to a secret for what, like 15 years.
Yeah.
Because he like used that as leverage 15 years later to like force her into a marriage with him, and I was like, that's some mastermind stuff that needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
Be gone.
So I guess real quick, the thing that reveals there's another thing that we really haven't touched on, which is there is the painter revolutionist, the person who Chiyoko falls in love with as a kid and as a teenager, and then still a kid, and
she's pursuing him for basically her whole life.
But as a child, she was given this key, and he's like, it opened, like, and he pats this like chest thing. He's like, this is what it opens.
Supplies.
Yeah, and he's just like, don't tell me what's in there. Leave it for me tomorrow. And she's like, okay, well, here's the key. Well, and then she finds the key the next day as he's escaping. And so she holds onto this key pretty much her whole life and pretty much wears that as a necklace and everything. And then there's a point where it shows that there is some sort of like connection between her and Utaki naturally. It feels like.
Did we watch the same movie?
I guess not naturally, but it was.
He came on strong.
Yes.
He's in a place of power over her because he's the director of all the films that
I said the wrong word, but there's like she gives she
has confused feelings.
Yes, until the glass hits the key, which it's funny because in the background, Ida and Tachibana are there, and Tachibana is like, "I'm going to get up and punch this."
I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I hate him. Can you believe he used that line on her? Can you believe he tried to coerce her into kissing her when they were drunk?
I will say it is like it's not to give an excuse, but to excuse my mistake. I did watch the movie 2 weeks ago, so I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, they didn't have natural. So when she was like 15, he was clearly also still older than her. And he started teasing her about the key, like, oh, who's this guy?
Oh, yeah, that was the same person, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the same guy. He's known her since she was 15 and pursued her for 15-ish years. Like, it's very predatory. So using the word naturally, I was like, hold on, people, let's not get this twisted.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, wait a second, was it the same person? It's been
she was never attracted to him. She just was lost.
Yes.
And he took advantage of that.
So there's the one point where, I guess the right word is like, there's a scene where it's like she almost considers it, and then the clinking, that's the word I meant and should have used instead of what I did.
Yeah. The key hits the glass.
The key hits the glass, and he's like, toodles, nerd, and leaves. where he gets all pissy, and it's like that's like the moment where it feels like I'm going to make this happen, and I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah, I think he's probably like how I imagine people in power are in Hollywood, based on like when people come out with stories where they're like, when they get refused by somebody, then they're not used to people saying no. So when people do say no, they start being extra evil.
Mm. So, but yes, that's out of those two, that's who I didn't like.
You hated him more.
Yeah,
that's very fair.
Both are not great people, but he's the one that.
I do like the clip of Tachibana first day on the job. He's like, "I love your movies. Oh, and ma'am, I love your dialogue with Chiyoko." And she's like, "Ugh, don't talk to me." And the other like intern's like, "Don't you know like she hates her?" And he's like, "Oh no, I just got here. I just got this job."
Yeah, I did like that reveal when he's just like, "Yep, there's this one other person," and it's just me. Like, because
slightly in the background.
Yeah, doesn't I think Ida's like, wait a second, what are you doing in this picture? Or like,
he zooms in at one point and he sees him in the crowd.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, and then it just reveals, and yeah, and then the one thing and it might just be the distance of the movie. I know that Iko steals the key at one point, which I don't remember what movie that is, and that's when
So she steals the key during the filming of the one where it's
is it the geisha film or
no, it's made to look like she's arguing with her mom about being a homemaker and quitting Hollywood.
Okay,
because they have the set that has the tatami mats. And then the director plays like, "Hey, Ida, you have to find..." Or not Ida, Tachibana. "You have to go find the key or she's not going to continue her job because she's all anxious or whatever." And then Tachibana said at the time, nobody knew who it was. They never found the key, so people suspected it was Aiko. Mm-hmm. And Aiko was doing the whole, like, very, like, nonchalant, like, "Oh my gosh, she's a drama queen. We can't get the shoot done because she's so dramatic about it." Mm-hmm. So it's clearly like Aiko, but then, Aiko kind of hints that she was caught with the thing before, and you kind of see it in the director's eyes when he's younger, that he's like onto what's going on, and with a fortune teller, and then you have the many years later where she's a dutiful housewife. She goes into his office, knocks over a bookcase while she's trying to clean, and lo and behold,
key. And
she confronts him about it, and he's like, "I'm already married to you. What are you going to do about this?"
Leave.
And she does.
Yes.
Not permanently, but yeah, she does.
And then she goes back into acting, and then there's an earthquake where she loses the key again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
During the final movie. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have the hero moment for our boy.
Yeah.
Our pal.
Yes, and it was just like, and then like it was almost a little bit. I felt a little bit bad for him because like she's just like freaks out because like rightfully so from everything that just happened, and everyone's just like, "What, did you touch her?" He's like, no, I just
they're like, "What did you do to her?" And he's like, "Oh no, she just had this look in her eyes and she ran."
and then I'm like, okay, and then that's when I think that's when Scarface shows up, right? Like at the end there.
To admit to.
Where she's like, because there's another point which to explain this part was, there is a moment in her past, like you made mention of it, where Scarface tricks her a little bit to make it known that she knows who the painter, the revolutionist, the man with the key is. But so they lock her up, and in doing that, they pretty much is like, okay, well, it comes to a point where it's like, oh, someone paid your bail, and that it's Tachibana pretending to be this rich old man that
I brought $3 million.
Yeah, that she helped out, like this, that it was like something in the past that she did to help or something, and he comes back as this like rich man and just like let her out, and then just trying to get her to safety, and that's when she's passing the man with the key as he's going in there.
Because he says also when she's let out, she's like, "Am I really free?" He's like, "Well, we caught him. We don't need you anymore."
Yeah, and that's when
she goes through another chase sequence where she's just too, like barely too far.
Yes,
from getting to him.
And so, all that being said, at that point, when Scarface comes back, it's clear that, like, throughout the whole movie, it's just like, yeah, she's still looking for this man, and pretty much, like, except for, like, it's never really focused on the fact that she's like still wondering what, like, I think there's wondering, but she isn't actively searching for him like she was when she was younger.
No, because like she has the one line where she explains that she thought if she kept acting in films, she would be so famous that he would definitely have to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And that during the accident, her realization was like, something we didn't mention is her hometown was bombed and destroyed. Mm-hmm. And she did see a relic left of a painting of her where he writes, "We will meet again soon." She gets that framed. And after the accident that Tachibana saved her from, she has like a moment of clarity where she's like, I don't look like her anymore. I'm not the girl that he's been looking for all along. Even if I keep being in movies, either he's not going to recognize me or he's not going to want to find me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes and hides for, what did they say, like 40 years?
I can't remember. But yeah, she goes and... Yeah, while she's having that, and then like it shows that, because that's when Scarface shows up with the letter, and she reads it, and then she just bolts and has, I think is that also combined with the chase sequence throughout everything when she's like, I think it's like a different chase sequence or when her
There's
traveling.
A lot of chase sequences.
Because I don't think this one's a chase, it's just her traveling because it's like it shows her in the car and it's like, kind of cuts to like when she was, I think, like the ninja on the horse or something like that, and she's
going through all the eras.
Running through all that, and then it like when she's on the train and like the stuff, like pretty much like her running is like cross cut with all the different movies of her trying to like run back to her like lord husband, like whatever it is, like. But in reality, whatever the movie is,
counterpart is,
and then she gets there, and then she's in space, like finally on the moon, looking at the painting, and like he's in the painting, and it's just like peace. But but then I thought it was interesting where it's like that happens, and that's when like she in current time like has like a heart attack or something. It doesn't really say what she has. If it did, I missed it. But like she has to go to the hospital.
Yeah, they had the series of earthquakes. She does talk about how she was born during an earthquake, and then a lot of the negative experiences she's had in her life have had earthquakes involved with them, like the accident on the final film set. And so during the interview, she's like, she's getting like shaken up by these earthquakes, and Tachibana's like, oh, we can like wait, and she's like, I don't think I'll remember this by tomorrow. Let's just hurry up and finish it because these earthquakes are getting worse. And during them, she does grab her chest at one point. They go to the hospital, and she's like hooked up to an IV. I do like that Tachibana is like, the doctor said you're gonna be okay. She's like, wow, you're such a bad liar.
I know. But, and then I do like the ending there where it's just like, I think Edith's like, man, it's a bummer that she never could find him. Is like, she'll never will. Like, Scarface told me that he killed him. Like
way long ago.
So she was chasing after a ghost, but hey. And then I think he alludes or says something. He's like, maybe they can meet now or something like that. And then it kind of cuts to the, her final film in the spaceship blasting off into space. Yeah. So yeah, it was
Well told story.
Yeah, I want to watch it again. So,
watch it with one of the people you recommended it to.
I could, or I'll just go watch it again.
You have access to Crunchyroll now.
Oh, I think I watched this one on Amazon.
Yeah, but it is on Crunchyroll.
Oh,
so you don't have to re-rent it every time.
I think it was on Prime, but I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
Well, I canceled mine.
Yes.
They asked for an exit survey when I canceled mine, and at the very end, I said, "Fuck Bezos." I did the rest of the survey normal. Any additional comments?
Cookies.
Cookies.
Yeah. Let's see.
Is there still time on the timer?
There's a minute and 16, 15, 14.
Sorry, listeners.
Let me look through my notes real quick and see if there was anything in there. I really like the music.
It was all beautiful.
The music was great.
The art, the music, the transitions between scenes, even though it was like disorienting to see her go through all the different movies, like the music and the color grading and the art style changing each time made it smoother, even though it was like all at once. It worked. Especially when you were starting to anticipate it. Once you understood that's how the movie and story was being retold, then it's like, when's it change next? What's it gonna be next?
Excuse me. But yeah, like the music was great. Like this would be something if they had it on a record, I would, would like to have. Let's see. Just double checking to make sure there isn't anything. I have a note here, and now I know why I wrote this. Okay, our timer's up, and I'll close on this. As I think it's when they open up the train and go into the past, and she's like, is she a princess, or I forget what she's dressed up as, but she does that, and I'm like, hold up, where are they now? Dang magical actor girls. Because it's like, at that point it's not very clear of what the heck is actually happening, because I think it's like
it's your first time.
It's the first thing, because then it's like after that it's like back in the modern thing where Gramps is like, hey. So it's like a little bit of like, because it almost feels it. If you didn't know, it could feel a little bit like Cloud Atlas. Which I don't know if Hops watched that, but
I have not.
Cloud Atlas jumps between timelines. It is a very weird movie. I
have the book. I thrifted it.
Yeah, I heard that the book is also a very weird movie. But but our time is up. So thank you everyone for listening and everything, and yeah, it's if it wasn't very clear, this movie is worth experiencing yourself.
2 thumbs up.
If I had more, I would.
I was expecting you to say 4 thumbs up, because there's 2 thumbs.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of my own fingers. 4 thumb. I was about to say 4 thumbs up, but it wasn't the fact that we both were holding up our thumbs.
Yeah, but in any case, yeah, thank you if you've listened to this far. We always appreciate it. Some things that could help us out if you enjoy the podcast and this content is leave comments, likes, reviews, share with other people. We don't watch a ton of anime related content, so if you do like this,
let us know.
I sneeze. Yes, apologies for the sneeze.
It's all good.
But
I'm gonna boost it up in post. I'm just gonna be like, and that way it'd be like an earthquake in their ears.
Yeah. So so let us know, and then we have a guest next week watching Time of Eve with us. We didn't watch the movie version. We instead watched the TV, like a bunch of short little things all put together to basically be movie length. And then We have not that. I don't know. It feels like this one's going pretty quickly because we are already halfway through.
We are halfway through, but it's but yeah, it's all good. Like, I think everything just feels short after the A24 series.
I wonder if next year's series of things is also going to feel short.
It could. It'll be fun. But yeah, so that's what we got, everybody. And I don't think we said do we say the guest?
Yeah, I didn't say the guest. Earlier you just said we have a guest next week. I didn't know if it was a big secret reveal for when
No, we normally tell people. It's a new guest. JR Flames. There we go. I was like, wait, no, it's not that one. It's not that one. I was like, yeah, so JR Flames is joining us. It's his first time on the podcast. He's a long friend of both of ours. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have him on, and you guys get to hear him chat next week. We already heard it. So, but anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Doodles.